This is Stokely Hathaway, and you are listening to The A Show on RNC Radio with Justin and Meelz. I've been looking for the dream team of podcasting, and guess what? I found them. It's The A Show.
Well, my sister Jessica had a security towel. She got it from my grandmother, so it was really special to her. But over time, this white towel got a little more dingy and dirty, to the point where this towel was nasty and it stunk. And I remember one day she took that towel and she went to school with it. And of course, a local bully saw her and took the towel from her. That's where little brother Bobby stepped in. I went in there and I found that bully, and I took that towel from that bully and I shoved it down his throat. I bet that towel was really, really tasty, Tim.
It's that new way. Future Hendrix. Yeah. Oh, that shit. Pop. Say you getting down, I'm tryna part with you. Oh, that's your best friend, I'm tryna fuck her with you. First met the bitch, they say they real sisters. Okay. I don't give a fuck if they were real sisters. Fuck around with me, tryna dodge bullets. Serve a pack of chickens and a Dodge Henry. Fuck around with me, tryna dodge bullets. Fuck around with me, I fuck twin sisters. Shit, whipping up a key, tryna dodge prison. Timing in the street, that's some more jealous.
What's going on, everybody? This is Justin, and I am here for the A Show. I'm with my co-host, Meelz. What's going on, Meelz?
Yo, it is a beautiful day in New York City. It's amazing. Like, the weather took a full 180 from wherever we were, like, in April 9th or 10th or wherever we're at. Like, it took a full 180. It's fucking beautiful outside. I'm inspired. I want to do a podcast outside.
No, you don't. You don't want to hear all those outside noises and the rats in the trees in New York. You don't want to hear
rats in the trees. Whoa. No, I'm in a pretty good neighborhood up in Harlem. Like it's I'm in a pretty reputable part of the city. But it just feels good. I've always wanted to do a podcast outside, but everyone's just like, no, it would sound terrible. And I'm like, I agree. Probably.
I've done it before. And the birds, I think the sound of birds, like you're worried about like birds shitting on you outside. Like I was looking up like, oh shit, I don't want to get shit on. Honestly,
a bird definitely shit on my hand like 2 weeks ago. I'm not even.
No fucking way.
It shit on my hand. I was on my phone walking, and this is a lesson not to walk and be on your phone at the same time, even though everyone does it. I'm just walking casually. Boom. They like bullseye, nailed it. I'm pretty sure that's what the bird said. Like, because he shitted right on my hand and on my phone. And my first response was, I don't know if you ever watched King of the Hill, but when Hank Hill goes, that's literally. So, yeah. I mean, my mom says it's good luck, but I felt pretty, I was really grossed out in that moment, and I had to find the nearest bathroom. So yeah, that's been my day. How's your day been?
I'm surprised you didn't tell RNC that. I guess you were worried. You were concerned that we were gonna get at you.
I think I've learned. I've learned to just avoid saying things because I know what's gonna happen. But going half on dates and all this other things.
Boy, yeah, that's a whole different conversation.
That's a story for another podcast on another day.
You are infamous for the going Dutch, going Meelz.
No, why? Oh my God! Listen, this is 2018.
We the prize.
At this point, why not? Why not?
We are the prize. Okay, all right. It's a great day. It's a great day in Los Angeles. Had a great couple of days here. I'm getting a dog.
You're getting a dog. Whoa.
Yes. Yeah.
Why?
No. I woke up 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I said, you know what? I'm down with the dog. And my girlfriend for months has been like, let's get a dog. Let's really do this. And I kind of been dragging my feet. But I she's been showing me dogs. She wants a French bulldog. That's her thing.
I gotta Google
and
it.
I was like, yeah, Google that. They're you know what? They're really beautiful dogs, man. I can't even lie. And we originally had a dog in mind that we were going to pay the deposit on last weekend, 2 weekends ago. And the motherfucking breeder sold the dog before we even met the dog. And nice. She was just like, she was devastated. Like, she was so hurt. And so we found another breeder that had a litter that accidentally, they basically had a litter on accident. And they were like trying to get rid of them. And we found our dog. And I saw him and I was like, that's the one. And, you know, I haven't had a dog in about, I want to say like almost 8 or 9 years because our family dog passed away when I lived in Virginia. And I really emotionally just haven't been ready to have that responsibility. But I think I'm ready now and I'm kind of excited. He's coming home. He's coming home imminently.
Dogs are nice. I'm pretty okay on the dog. Yeah, I'm good on the dog, man. Dogs are nice. Dogs make you happy. Sometimes dogs are there when no one else is there, and I think they like love you unconditionally, unless you're like a shithole to them. But dogs are nice. I respect the decision.
I love the dog. His name is Migo.
Migo.
Yeah.
Okay, now.
Well, but just to let everyone on the A show know, it was almost Finn.
It was almost Finn.
It was almost Finn Balor.
All right. Well, you know what? We got Finn Balor to talk about on this podcast nonetheless.
Oh, for sure. Which is a great segue into our No Holds Barred segment. Let's just start off with the money talk. Let's start with the money gang talk, boys.
Big money. Yep. Listen, they secured the bag last week, and now it's even the bag is just more profound.
And you know, we've been predicting that these numbers would be crazy because of just the month that they've had as far as business with WrestleMania, Greatest Royal Rumble, the Shakeup, and Backlash, all within a month. WWE stock is at an all-time high. It closed at $42.50 yesterday. And I have to say, like, regardless of what we feel about the creative, it is not hurting the money.
Oh, the bag is still profound. The money, the business is still flourishing at this point. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy how much things they've got their hands into. I mean, we talk about the Greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia that happened last week. Talk about WrestleMania that just happened a few weeks ago. Got another pay-per-view coming up. We talk about, you know, they were on Facebook, had an exclusive Facebook show. I think they have another exclusive Facebook show as well. Coming up, or some digital online content thing coming up. It's like WWE has their hands in so many different things, so many different pots. They're earning so much revenue from so many different places. Like, listen, all this is leading up to the TV deal. All of this is leading.
And the TV deal is supposed to be profound. Also, there are rumors, however, that they will be staying with NBC Universal. They're actually going to be appearing, or John Cena and Nikki Bella, which we'll get to in a second, are going to be appearing in the NBC Upfront, where that's basically like a presentation for investors in a couple of weeks. And it's expected that they're going to stay there, but I think the rumor is that because Miz and Mrs. and a lot of other shows are actually premiering within that time before they re-up on the TV deal or find a new one, that's why they're showing up, and that's going to be the main focus of this upfront. But I mean, all in all, like Meelz said, like, the actual money that they're earning and all of the things that they are doing with just digital platforms and the network and just original programming it looks really good on investors. And right now, I mean, even if you're into stocks and you're not, and you're iffy about everything going on, like, I'd say buy into the WWE. Like, they look to be like far and away on top of and in front of a lot of trends that are emerging just as far as digital. Like, even just the network idea was, for its time, incredible. Look at how many people or how many companies have piggybacked off their idea since.
Right. I mean, WWE is mega conglomerate business thing. Like, it's to me, this still is no surprise. I expect it to go even higher at some point.
Absolutely. Speaking of things going higher, WrestleMania is rumored to return to Orlando, Florida, damn near imminently within the next 4 or 5 years. Orlando is making a play to host WrestleMania in either 2023 or 2025, and they've already taken out over $1 million in order to secure their bid to get the WWE back. If you guys remember last year, Orlando made copious amounts of money off of WrestleMania when they appeared there last year. And I think that they want to bring that back. And this is more proof that, like we just said, WWE is big business wherever they go, and they bring the money with them. And I think just having a weekend like that for Orlando again will actually just makes them look good.
I'm fine with WrestleMania in Orlando. I like warm weather WrestleManias.
Yes.
I'm not, listen, WrestleMania is coming to New York next year.
I'm not looking forward to that.
Well, so New York. It's not New York, which is fucking, they're promoting it as New York. It's not fucking New York. It's New Jersey.
You hate that.
You hate it because it's New Jersey. Like, why do I want to go to New Jersey? The thing is, it's just like, part of me is like thinking of all the things that are like, oh my God, traffic. Oh my God, everything, like trains. Oh my God, MTA, just everything traveling there. And oh my God.
Can I Uber there, or do I have to take the train?
So you can Uber there, but here's what I suggest, and here's what a lot of people do who go to like shows that are in that New Jersey area that kind of represent New York, because a lot of people have done it with like Beyonce concerts and Jay-Z concerts and all this other things. You essentially have to like walk a mile away from the stadium to get a decent Uber back into the city to avoid like congestion with everyone ordering Ubers and everyone on the train and everyone driving at the same time.
Right.
So it's kind of, but you can definitely Uber it. I mean, I would probably recommend Ubering it. It's just you probably likely going to be stuck in traffic.
Now, a lot of people, including our homie Ampavelli, big fan of the show, big fan of his show. He said that he did not like the stadium in Orlando. So there are not a lot of people that are a fan of this.
Listen, at this point, if you know WrestleMania is coming, this shit better be in tip-top shape. You better, I think we can miss a few whatever Marlins games or, whoever the fuck plays in that stadium. And we can sort of gussy up the place. I mean, he says the chairs are uncomfortable. I have no doubt in my mind that the chairs are probably uncomfortable, so they need to fix that.
He said that those were the same. He said that they used the same chairs that they used back when segregation was legal. Let's just be clear.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God! Well, listen, we can. They need to fix that up. If we're getting WrestleMania, sure. Do you feel like it's gonna come back to LA again?
LA Stadium isn't set to be done. Let's see when it's set to be done. Rams Stadium, because we just finished the soccer stadium, which I confused with that. The Los Angeles Stadium and Hollywood Park, that broke ground last year. Let's see when it's supposed to be finished. It's not coming anytime soon. No, it is coming pretty soon. When is it set to be finished? When is it set to be finished? Sorry, Googling this here.
Stadium. Let's see.
2023 looks like. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm bugging. It's planned to open in 2020. It's going to have the Super Bowl in 2022.
Okay, listen. I'm sure WWE would want to be one of the first occupants of that stadium.
So I would say if they're going to New York next year, it's opening in 2020. I would predict that it's going to have WrestleMania on the 2021 year.
Yeah.
So if we're to believe it, then next year will be New York. I really think they really want to do Minnesota. I think Minnesota will happen in 2020.
Who would they bring to Minnesota?
They've been wanting to do Minnesota forever, yo.
I don't know who they would bring, but I'm not a fan. I don't think anyone is a fan of just like going to WrestleMania. Do you hear the music in the background, by the way?
Yeah, I hear that music. What is that?
This is Cardi B. There's a show going on in the other room. Crap.
Turn that shit down.
All right, give me a second.
Yeah. So expanding this stadium, I'm not cutting this out, by the way. I don't think Meelz knows that. I'm not cutting this out. Just for anyone. I'm not cutting it out.
Whatever.
But the capacity of the Los Angeles Stadium is 70,240, but it's expandable to 100,000 for Super Bowls, Final Fours, FIFA World Cups, Summer Olympics, and other major events. I think WWE is going to try and go for at least the 90.
That's big money. That's just big money. That's just big money.
It's going to happen, and it'll happen. it'll happen.
Yeah, listen, the power of the dollar in WWE is going hand in hand.
And this is also going to be it's going to basically be the third like facility in Los Angeles to host like multiple teams. So it's going to be holding the Rams and the Chargers.
Right.
And so it's going to be nuts. I really think that this is going to be a big move if they decide to do that. But yeah, that's what's rumored to happen in 2023 or 2025. Do you want to talk about, again, I always have to ask you, do you want to talk about Nikki Bella and John Cena?
You know, it's very salacious. I don't know much of the news. I know I've been keeping up. I know news has been like posted on like US Weekly, like the main media outlet sources that you would get all your news from. I know it's been posted there, but I don't know too much of the specifics. But I feel like, you know what? Maybe we save it for another time.
Okay. Well, all I will have to say on this is Nikki Bella did return to social media this week. She had a new video come out, and she has confirmed that she has been staying with her sister Brie, and that's all I'll get to with that. But the salacious details are even more. We could go for hours on this, but I think that it is better that we just don't even get into that. I don't think it's true, but yeah, we'll bring it up at a different time. Meelz, did you watch the New Japan cards from last weekend?
All right, so here's what I have to say about that. I saw the GIFs. This is exactly what I said last time that would happen. I saw the GIFs on the timeline.
Okay.
I meant to watch it, never watched it, and then they announced everything for Dominion, and I was like, okay, I'll watch that. And that's essentially
Dominion is a big card.
I'm hearing.
Dominion, I'm sorry. Dominion is a big card. I would love to have our homeboy Chris Mack on the card to talk about that in 5 weeks when it does happen. I will say, as a whole, the Dontaku cards were a mixed bag to me last week. I think wrestling as a whole was a mixed bag last week, just as a whole. But you did have a big match between Okada and Tanahashi, which Okada did win in about 30 minutes, and he did break Tanahashi's streak of defenses. So, yay, there you go. We all knew it was going to happen. Hooray. But what was most interesting is that Kenny Omega, he called out Kenny Omega and said he basically wants to end this. And Kenny Omega says that, okay, we're going to end this, but it has to be a no time limit. Best 2 out of 3 falls match for the IWGP Championship. They are at 2-2 apiece. What do you think? What do you think? Who do you like? Do you like that main event? I think we all predicted it, but is that something that excites you?
Yeah, it's something that excites me. I think, the current iteration of Kenny Omega, I think we both agreed last week that he's kind of taken a step back from where he was maybe a year or 2 years ago. But I think, it's kind of like a lower profile, but I'm still overall excited for the match because I just think in general, these two have great chemistry with one another. I think it's a great, I think just the stipulation kind of makes it really definitive, which I really like. Although it leaves the door open for an extremely long match. But
they're going an hour.
They're going. I think they're going over that. I think they saw what Seth Rollins did on Raw, and it was like, yo, we could beat that. But you know what? I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. I'm actually looking forward to this main event. I mean, the two guys worked well with each other. They had match of the year candidates, at least 3 out of 5 of the match of the year candidates like last year. So it's kind of like, it's a no-brainer to me. I'm with it.
Yeah, I'm super excited. As you guys already know, we voted Kenny Omega and Okada match of the year last year. So this is, there's a lot of potential, things that will come out of this match, and I'm very, very excited to see where they go with it. And I agree. Like, Kenny needs a win. Like, I don't think he's had a stellar match besides the tag match with the Bucks and Ibushi. I don't think he's had a stellar match since that. I mean, the Jericho match was cool, but I think it's kind of in the back of people's minds at this point. I don't even think it would hit my top 10 of the year if it came down to that. Another interesting match on the Dominion card, which was interesting as well. And I think I'll just run through the card and just go from bottom to top. Right? Yeah. We'll get to that match. Will Ospreay versus the Best of the Super Juniors winner. That tournament will be going down this month. You have people like Chris Sabin and Takahashi and ACH in that tournament. So Will Ospreay will face the winner of that match. Rey Mysterio is going to be on the show, getting the bag all over the place.
Listen, double bag, double month, everything, man. Listen, I'm here for it.
So he's going to be facing an opponent that is yet to be determined. I'm guessing that it'll be maybe the runner-up of the Super Juniors tournament, and obviously they can't tell you who that is yet. Hiroki Goto and versus Michael Elgin versus Taichi for the Never Openweight Championship. You've got LIJ, Evil and Sonata versus the Young Bucks for the IWGP Tag Championships, which I think they could possibly win there. And you also finally fucking have the match. Tetsuya Naito versus Chris Jericho for the Intercontinental Championship, which I think has very, very big stipulations added to it. I do think Chris Jericho could win this title.
I think so as well. I think, listen, he's a famed Intercontinental Champion over here in the States. I think adding another Intercontinental Championship just worldwide, and plus I think if he's willing to stay and continue to do these dates, why not? I think he's an excellent commodity. He's proven he can draw at Wrestle Kingdom earlier this year. He gets great reactions anytime he shows up. He's a dynamic superstar. I think for the role of Intercontinental Champion, I think it fits him to a T, and I think it'd probably do more than Tetsuya Naito.
It'll help Naito a lot. How do you feel about the beatdown angle?
I thought it was standard. I don't know. It was just like a run of the mill, beat him down, make my intentions known sort of deal. So I like
crazy Gaijin Jericho. I think that it's cool, but I think people are mixing up someone cussing and yelling loudly and punching people for real with actual weight behind their behind their actual character. I'm cool with the beatdown. I thought it was really good. It was cool that Naito got color there because it showed that it was a serious angle. But again, I am struggling to find the story here. So I guess we'll get more of that as it goes on. But I think it'll be a good match regardless. I hope. But the thing is, again, Jericho does not wrestle these 30, 40 minute, drag out matches. And this isn't going to be from what we know right now, it's not going to be a no DQ match like the Kenny Omega match was. So if this is a straight wrestling match, I'm wondering how long it's going to go and how it's going to be structured, especially with Naito, who is kind of he's on a whole different level than Jericho right now.
Easily.
So speaking of a whole different level, we have a whole different level of disappointment and just literal. I think this broke a lot of people. This pay-per-view and this weekend broke a lot of people. We had Backlash on, which is could it quite possibly be the worst pay-per-view of the modern era?
No. Whatever that pay-per-view was that had Rusev and John Cena in a flag match was pretty terrible overall.
Battleground?
Yeah, that one was pretty bad. That one was the most all right, well, yeah, that one was pretty bad. But this one was also very bad. It really, as the first sort of, dual pay-per-view era that we're heading in, this was a pretty bad showing. This is it was pretty bad overall. Started off great. Started off amazing. I think that even if you count the Ruby Riott and Bayley match, which was really good to me, the first two matches on this show were okay, we might have been wrong. Right. Seth Rollins and the Miz, and I think a match of the year contender right now to me. Oh, easily. I think just where they're both at in their careers right now, they're both hitting on all cylinders, and just to have them even have that match. I mean, at this point, after the shakeup, the match didn't even make any sense to continue to have, but just the fact that they had it and they sort of blew everything out of the water, it's amazing. It's one of the best matches in WWE all year.
Yeah, and again, the main constant in these matches is Seth Rollins, and I think he's the guy, and I don't think that anyone's denying that. I don't think anyone can deny that. They have rehabbed this guy, and I thought a year ago we were talking about this guy a year ago that he just seemed cold. He was just out there on a limb, and literally we
weren't even the only people talking about it. I mean, we had, even Stone Cold on his podcast would talk about how he just doesn't feel like Seth Rollins has it. He doesn't feel that fire. Even in this big program against Triple H last year for WrestleMania, he didn't necessarily feel anything, despite, Seth Rollins being a big star. Mm-hmm. So the fact that they sort of rehabbed him and just build him into this Iron Man, this, do all just amazing matches. The fact that he's found that balance as a face, that where he was as a heel for a very long time, a number of years ago, is just incredible.
Yes, I absolutely think that Seth is really coming to his own. And again, we talked about Kenny Omega earlier. It's like, this is really like a Kenny Omega run. And it's amazing that he's having this in the WWE, where it's like he's having matches with everybody. Right. And even Raw, he made me care about a fucking Mojo Rawley match. Like he got something out of Mojo Rawley, and I thought that was incredible. But as Backlash went on, it just seemed like it was slipping away from us. I mean, we had a really flat Nia Jackson Alexa Bliss match. And one thing that was very noticeable in the show was how predetermined it all seemed. Like, and I know it's funny to even say predetermined, but it seemed like kind of futile. That's the word I want to use. Like, it was futile. Like, all these matches didn't really mean anything in the end.
No, and it was kind of, I don't know. Well, I think this ended up being the second pay-per-view in 2 weeks, but this ended up being like pretty much the secondary pay-per-view at this point, because this was as big as the show was originally supposed to be. It was more of a transitional pay-per-view. We got this great Seth Rollins versus Miz match, but as you say, the Nia Jax match went flat. Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton, I don't even think they bothered to get into second gear for their match. No. Like, Daniel Bryan, Big Cass was fair, but it was short, and it is what it is. We had Carmella versus Charlotte Flair, which was pretty much.
I did not like that match. I didn't like that.
It literally went how everyone predicted it would go.
Yes.
Yeah. That's it.
I know Carmella tweeted that she was better in ring, and to her credit, she has gotten better. I do not think that mixing her with Charlotte Flair. I don't think Charlotte Flair is someone who enhances the talent that they face. I think Asuka is. I think Charlotte plays down to whoever she's wrestling, and we'll talk about that on SmackDown. But since Mania, Charlotte has not impressed me.
No, and I think it's really when she gets these great dancers, she can. It's not something like. We talked about this a little bit with even Seth Rollins, hell, even The Miz at this point, being able to elevate your opponent and sort of understand what they bring to the ring and how to sort of highlight their positives and sort of keep their negatives hidden. There's a very few, I think to me, there's very few of the women on the roster who can bring that out. I think Asuka's one who sort of brings the best out of their opponent. I think Natalya from time to time, but Natalya's matches kind of haven't been his.
Yeah, they're whatever.
And I think Sasha Banks. Is someone who brings it out of the opponent. And we'll talk about on Raw. I mean, Ember Moon is also on fire, but Charlotte doesn't seem to have that quality in her quite yet. Now, I do think she'll get there one day. I think there's a switch that you hit one day, but just not right now.
Yeah, it's not. To me, and we'll talk about it on SmackDown. Again, I hate always saying that, but that match just never got out of first gear to me, and it just seemed like they were underwater. Then you had the WWE Championship match, which I asked earlier that day, so does Nakamura win here? And, everyone's like, no, he's not going to win. And I was like, okay, cool. But what do you do with his character? And then nothing could have prepared us for what the fuck we saw at that match. I was really loving this match, and they gave it 21 minutes. I was loving this match. And I loved how AJ came back from the low blow and he gave Nakamura his own. And I was like, okay, I would be cool if Nakamura lost that way. Because that's his come up.
I love it.
So they kick each other on the balls and they both don't get up. And that's how you end the match. The crowd audibly booed for a very long time after this. They hated this finish, and everyone else hated this finish. And I just got to be honest, this I'm done seeing these two together right now.
This is a finish you would see. Just two people being knocked out by both kicking each other in the balls is very America's Funniest Home Video, Simpsons. It's comedic in a sense, and it's that sort of factor that just takes the wind out of the match itself. You have these very competitive match between two amazing athletes, and this is the way you end the match. It's kind of comedic, but at the same time, it takes away the levity of the actual match. I think, we're learning now, and I think we're continuing to learn that it's not so much the dance partners with translating everything from, what happened in New Japan to WWE, because New Japan has their own style and WWE has their own style, and WWE leans on sort of this entertainment factor and telling a story and all these other things. But New Japan sort of leans on the story comes through the physicality in these matches and just some of the things that happen outside and how they build up, but it's usually match based but just this was a bad way to end this match, man.
And it was probably the best. It was nearing on being the best of the three. Yeah. And they've been getting better every single time. I would still say to me, just overall, like I like the finish to the first one a lot better. And it's like there are parts of these matches that they have that are really, really good, and then they fuck it all up. And I don't understand what is so hard about just let AJ beat him. And it's like you don't want to beat Nakamura. Like Nakamura does not lose a lot.
Right.
He doesn't lose to a lot of people. But then it's like you don't want to beat AJ, and it's like it's the same shit that they kind of do. And it's like figure out what you want to do with these characters and stop leaving them in this holding pattern, like running it in a wheel. Like I don't understand what they do here. But this match is, their feud is not done, obviously, but that match was probably one of it just kind of signaled the end of the show. You had the tag match between Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley, which no one gave a fuck about. I didn't care about it either. And then you had Roman Reigns, as we predicted, Samoa Joe sacrificing himself to get Roman over again. Did not work. I don't think this will work. I'm not sure what they're doing with Roman. Joe wasn't even on SmackDown this week, probably getting ready for the European tour that they're about to go on this week. Just overall, Backlash was a dud. I think that the guys are tired, and that's another thing. Like these performers look fucking exhausted, and I think that comes through in the matches. Like these matches they're not even breaking like the 10-minute mark. Like these guys are fucking beat.
They've had a long schedule, and the schedule continues over the next 2 weeks when they're over there in London, and then they'll be back, and then it'll be Money in the Bank before you know it. But it's a long, tiresome schedule they've been on, but I think more so different from the schedule. I think just at this point, creative is sort of doing them a disservice, even to the Roman Reigns thing. It talks about Roman Reigns needs to end up calling a shot at some point, but my God, man, like just the way this match went, people were leaving during the match because they knew how it was going to end. There were people, there was video of people leaving during the match. At this point, they were just like, I guess they saw Braun and it was like, okay, this is over. But it's just the fact we have one of the best rosters of all time, and just the creative is sort of wasting it. And we only had one good match, and it was at the beginning. It was kind of, it's a very smarky thing to sort of complain about, but at the same time, it's like, you pay for the network, you pay for your ticket to the show, you want to be sort of entertained throughout, and you just want to keep the crowd engaged. I think everything just happened here was kind of lazy.
I was out of it by the Nakamura match. I was willing to give it an opportunity, and it's like, just a bigger conversation just has to happen with what's going on with the way that they book the top guys in this promotion. And, like we said, like the money ain't hurting, they're not hurting for money. Like they're making a lot of money, but when the creative starts to suffer, that's a problem. And I think, and I pray, and I hope that this gets cleared up in the coming weeks, but we have 5 weeks to build Money in the Bank. And I think that's the longest that they've had to build anything in quite a while. And we'll see how they do that in the next 5 weeks. One thing I do want to say, I have to say from the bottom of my heart to my co-host, Meelz, I'm sorry, man. I'm very...
Sorry about what? What are you sorry?
I have been, since me and you became friends in around 2013, 2014, I have always ragged on you for a certain fandom that you have and a certain affinity that you have to a certain wrestler.
I like where this is going.
Who I didn't. I was not a huge fan of. I have to say, I thought he brought everything down. I still do think that his main event at WrestleMania 27 was one of the worst main events I've ever seen in my life, worse than Backlash.
All right, well,
however,
has their opinion, sure.
Just take it. Take this as it comes. But I will say that I gotta eat. I got a plate in front of me. There is a crow on it. He is lightly seared on both sides. I have a knife and a fork. I am preparing to eat the crow. And I will tell you right now that The Miz is awesome. And he is currently one of the top 5 performers in the WWE today. So there you go. I think Meelz just fell out of his chair.
Hold on. Am I back?
Yes.
All right. Everything is just happening so quickly. Listen, I knew for a long time. I knew the type of person that Miz was. And, I don't want to spend too much time bragging or going over this long spiel. I'm going to save this for the day I actually interview The Miz. But I knew he had this in him for a long time, and I knew he was always a hard worker. And I'm just glad at this point in his career, everyone else has seen it, and everyone else is sort of, going, he's really, and you know what? I'm proud of him because he wasn't always the best. It's not like he came out and he was the best, and I just thought he was the best, and everyone was fucking wrong. He built to that point. He's built to this period in his career where he's sort of killing it in the ring. Like, he's killing it on every level. He's hitting everything. He's hitting every mark. He at this point, I don't even think they need to give him a script. He just goes out and freestyles it. He's really come to his own, and I think he's one of those characters that just knew what was hindering him and knew what would stop him from, going down in history, and that was probably his in-ring work, and he's improved on it. And I think his series with Ziggler a number of years ago is beef with Daniel Bryan. I think all these things have just become a perfect storm into making The Miz one of the best superstars, arguably top 3 in the WWE.
Top five. Don't play with me. It's top 5, motherfucker. Don't play with me.
No, we all have our opinions, but arguably in the top echelon in the WWE.
Miz fans don't even know how to pronounce words. See,
listen, I don't need to know how to pronounce words. We're Miz fans. His name is The Miz.
Wow, that's some Trump shit. I don't need to know how to pronounce words.
All right, shut up. Come on, don't do that. You gave Miz the moment, and then you gonna throw Trump in there? Come on, let's do this.
Right. I mean, Miz, remember in the real world where Miz said he never had black friends, he never grew up around black people, and then he said some racist shit?
I 100% believe that, and we could have talked about it on an oft podcast called Mad Real World that maybe we'll update. Maybe we'll upload.
Oh man, remember that shit?
Oh my god! The precursor to the A Show, by the way.
Yes.
But I do believe, and look where he's at now. My man is out here. He was at some point teaming with R-Truth. My man, he's making so many different. He's just doing so much, and he's doing so well. And I'm happy to be a fan.
I think it was really telling and really dope that they show his Money in the Bank win on SmackDown on Tuesday, and you see the difference. Just even in the swagger, it's just different. Like, he would never hold a belt up like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just like, just the way he looked, and he had Alex Riley at his side, but at that time in 2010. What an era, right? Just disgusting. But now it's like he's put together matches that I have to say, like, someone like a ring general would do. And I think what Miz has come to terms with is that he can't do everything, and he doesn't try to. But for a heel that he is built on getting heat, every spot that he does means something. So when he does something new, like when he tripped up Jeff Hardy on the apron on Tuesday, he might not have ever done that before, but he did that just for the heat, to take out Jeff Hardy, to clip his wings off, so to speak. And I noticed the little things that he does that he didn't used to do. He catches people on dives now. How crazy is that?
He catches people. He's a thinking man's wrestler at this point.
All right.
At this point, he's a thinking. Like, listen, you saw the match with Seth Rollins. As good as Seth Rollins is, it just wasn't all Seth Rollins in that match. There was a lot of things that The Miz did that contributed to this match. And The Miz could have been someone who just said, like, yo, there's no way you're kicking out of 2 skull-crushing finales. But that happened. Yeah. Think of how big that was. Like, to take your finisher and have the guy kick out twice and understand what that means for Seth Rollins, who's in this moment right now and building and on this extreme high, and being able to do that, it enhances the character of Seth Rollins. Like, he's doing more than I think what a lot of people would like to give him credit for, but I think he's starting to really get this credit nowadays.
Yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. I do think that Miz has really changed and come full circle, and it's a testament to how how WWE we get on them for not giving up on people. Mm-hmm. This is a testament of them when they when they don't give up on someone, and I think that they've always put him in position even when he was cold. Like they've kind of always put him in a position where he could always heat up a babyface, or he could always heat up an angle, or heat up a segment. And it's now coming to fruition. It's like it's kind of like the inverse of Roman, where it's like they didn't give up on him and it worked, but they didn't give up on him because they knew that there were certain aspects of him that did work. Right. Whereas with Roman, they don't understand. They're so tone deaf to the idea that there are some things with this character that just do not work, and they just won't admit it. And I think you look at Miz as an example of like what's happening. And you know what? If you want to draw another parallel, look at Bray Wyatt right now. Like, they're going all in on what does work with this character, and that is how weird he is, and that is how he can team up with someone kooky like that and finally get some. Like I would say, like Bray's over again.
He's kind of over. I think he's over as a subsidiary of Woken Matt Hardy, but I'm hoping. I would have rather him been a face on his own. Like I think that would have been a nice little wave. But we're here. I can't beg and choose. Like this is at the point. This is better than everything that we've gotten over the last 2 years from Bray Wyatt. So. And it's yeah.
And you want to get into Raw and SmackDown now and get to the review?
Let's get into Raw and SmackDown.
All right. So Raw and SmackDown were book-ended and started with the Money in the Bank qualifiers for both shows. There will be 8 people in each Money in the Bank. Did I say we're wrong about Money in the Bank? Did I wall out?
No, you said Money in the Bank. I don't think there will be 8 people for the Money in the Bank, though.
Wait a minute, no? I thought there was 8 both.
I think there'll be 6. I'm thinking there's gonna be 6, just from the way I'm thinking it's gonna be 6.
It's 8.
It's 8. It's 100% 8.
It's
okay.
8. Mm-hmm. It's 8. It's 8 for both.
I think because they're
any ideas you want to do?
I'm saying that because they're running it pretty slowly. Like they're giving men 2 matches and women 1. So it makes me think by the end of the night it's gonna be it's going to be 6, but whoever we'll see what happens. Especially because the last one was 6 women.
It looks like 8 here because if you're splitting brands, it's cool to be even and have 4 and 4. But I think what they'll do is have either a beat the clock or like a final battle royal or a fatal 4-way or a fatal 5-way to determine the last person. Do you want to spitball just from who we have left, who get into the match, or do you want to do the after review? Let's do it after reviews and let's spitball who we think, and we can come back to this. I'll write it down. We'll come back to this. I'd say they'd have it finished in about 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah,
and we'll see.
Oh yeah, it'll be 8 women. It's going to be 8 women.
Yeah, we'll see who will be at the end. So we had the qualifier matches there. As on the Raw side, you have Braun Strowman, who beat Kevin Owens. What's going on with these two, with him and Sami? That's one thing I do want to talk about. They are doing another breakup angle with these guys.
I think they don't know what to do. I think that's really it. I think they don't know what to do yet. I think maybe as the year goes on, we'll begin to discover a purpose for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. But I think currently right now on Raw, there's nothing to do. And I think there's not a lot to do for everybody without a belt and people to really chase after it.
How about this? Make them face. Like, stop bullshitting. Just make them faces. I don't know why there is a complete lack of face tag teams on the Raw side to face the Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler's and the AOPs. Just make them faces. Give them a run. Like I don't have an issue with that. They're a great tag team. Let them be a tag team. Stop putting them in these positions where they lose all the time. And while they look good, like Kevin Owens and Braun put on a fucking barn burner. I'm not even gonna lie. Like that match, I enjoyed it a lot. But like beating Kevin Owens, I think there's so much better for him to be either and a lot of people say he could be a top heel and anything, and I agree. But if you give them a chance to possibly break through and be faces and give them a chance to break through as top faces, that could happen as well. And it could also rehab Sami. So like stop bullshitting.
I think so too. I mean, at this point, anything else at this point, because it's not working. Nothing's working.
So we have Braun Strowman basically break through first there. And you also had Ember Moon in a really great three-way match between her, Ruby Riott, and Sasha Banks. Did you enjoy this match?
I love the match. I love a good triple threat match. I love the competitors in this match. I thought they had amazing spots. I think they all respect one another in a ring very, very much, and I think they also have great chemistry in the ring a lot as well. And
I love how they go ahead. I love how they kept the interactions between Ember and Sasha very limited. They didn't put them against each other very much in this match, and I love that because they're saving that for later.
I think I think just what they did for Ember Moon at this match. She's been off Raw for a couple of weeks, but what they just did there, I think it just helps so much, and it's amazing. I also like how they're building Ruby Riott. Of course, she did beat Bayley and Sasha within the same week, but she didn't look weak in losing this triple threat. I think they have very big plans for Ruby. I would say that she's one of my favorite. She's one of my favorite female performers in the company right now, and I think she does it. She's just improved, week over week, and I see it. She was a little jittery when she first started, but I think she's becoming more confident in herself in the ring. I still think her offense is better suited for a face. She doesn't scream heel to me at all, but I really like the way she looks in ring lately. I agree. You know what? I agree. I'm not the biggest Ruby Riott supporter. I don't hate her, but I'm not the biggest supporter. But I do agree that she'd probably be better suited as a face. But at this point, there's heel. She's not really doing half bad. Yeah. I question the Riott Squad and what roles they have, outside of this or in this or pretty much in any part of this. Yeah. But it's it's still going well for Ruby Riott at this point.
So Ember Moon did win that match. She is the first participant from Raw to be in the Women's Money in the Bank. We have three more left. I really enjoyed that match, and I really enjoyed the Sasha and Bayley storyline advancing more with Bayley coming out to save Sasha. And that is actually it's a weird thing. I think we'll look back on this storyline and be just completely weirded out by the first 4 months of it, and then when it finally gets running, I think we'll forget all about the rest of it.
This is some weird manga or some anime that's going on. This is really long term, to the point where nothing's really going on, and it's just these characters at this point kind of storyline. They need to. And I'm
if you don't want to turn either of them, then just finish the storyline. Yeah, don't do it.
Have them be friends. Everyone have a good feel-good moment. They hug in the ring. And everything is good. They figure out, you tell the story that sometimes friends have disagreements and sometimes friends don't think they're friends anymore. But at the end of the day, maybe, they get past whatever issues they're going forward and it makes them stronger. Who knows? You could have that story. That's a real nice story.
Yeah.
But I don't know where they're going for. I
completely agree. Yeah, I have no clue what they're going for, but I did like the progression this week. I thought it was good with Bayley finally coming out and being the bigger person. So we'll see where that goes. Let's go to the men's side of the Money in the Bank qualifiers. You had Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, very, very loved in Long Island on Monday, Long Island was an awful crowd, but it seemed like they were just there to boo Roman on Monday night. They didn't care about anything else but booing Roman.
I'll be honest, the show didn't have that much to cheer about, but Roman Reigns, this triple threat.
They sat on their hands. They sat on their hands during that really good Kevin Owens Braun Strowman match, and they sat on their hands during that really good women's three-way match. I call bullshit on Long Island on Monday.
I think I don't know. Long Island's weird. I don't go there. Shout out to everyone who lives there, but this was a pretty interesting match. I think, just a triple threat, they were able to keep Roman safe. At the same time, they were able to put over Finn Balor. I think Finn Balor got a much-needed win after these very valiant losses.
I think that I'm not sure this is a storyline that they're making for him, but Finn winning the big one at Money in the Bank and going on and turning heel because of the briefcase, I think is just a natural way to rehab this character. And I think more than anybody else who will predict to be in this match, I think Finn needs it more than anyone else. But I still think that if they put Roman in this match, Roman will win this match. And I'm hoping that they don't do that.
Yeah. I don't think, what? I don't know. I don't think they should put Roman in this match.
I think, doing Roman and obviously in the match, Jinder Mahal and Roman seems to be the program going forward.
Well, here's the thing: it's it's an interpromotional match, so it's not like there's a ton of spots open. There's a number of people who could be slotted into this match. There's only 2 more spots left on Raw, and there's 2 more spots left on SmackDown after this week's episodes. So it doesn't have to be Roman, you know?
Okay.
We'll talk about who we think it probably could be. I mean, do you want to talk about it now?
No, let's get through the shows because we gotta get to SmackDown too. Let's just run through Raw. What do you think about Roman and Jinder being the program going forward? I think we predicted this when the shakeup happened. I think that was
called it. Oh my god, I called it. It's a booze. That's what I think. Booze for both.
Yeah. I listen. Like, I don't think Roman has like super great matches anymore. Like, I don't think this year has been a great year for him as far as match quality. Like, so I don't know what he can get out of Jinder.
Roman?
Yeah, not this year.
Roman's still fair. He's not having these big matches. I don't think he's had like a match that he could really sink his teeth into besides the one with The Miz at the top of the year where The Miz won the Intercontinental Championship. But I don't think he's had a lot to sort of handle or over the last year. So I don't think he has a lot. So I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. I just thought that just the booking of this is going to be very interesting, the way that they pull it. I don't think they're going to do Roman and Jinder in the match in Chicago. I just think that's just not where they're going to go. I think you put them both in the match, but we'll get to that in a second.
In Chicago?
Yes. That they'll fucking slaughter that match, especially the night after fucking TakeOver.
Easily.
How do you feel about the commentary team on Raw? I think last night was where it broke me.
I said this a long ass time ago that I do not like the coach in this chair. I think it ruins it. I think it ruins the credibility because they're pretty much shitting on coach for the entire 3 hours.
Yes.
And I think, to be honest, at some point he deserves it. I think he makes some sort of I think he doesn't quite realize where he's back at yet. Or quite honestly, this is Coach's MO for the last number of years, or at least in his previous stint as a commentator on Raw, where he doesn't truly to me, he doesn't add much to the product.
Yeah.
He doesn't highlight it. He's not like a color commentator that you can sort of really get behind. But and the fact that they shit on him so much, it's just, how are you supposed to believe him? I don't like the coach on commentary. He's my favorite part of commentary. I'm saying bring Booker back.
I think that just in general, he's making everyone worse. Even a year ago, even with Booker, I still thought Corey brought something to the show. Now it almost feels like Corey doesn't speak unless he's being condescending to someone, marking out over fucking Elias or somebody like that, or sorry, Matt Hardy, or getting a pull or flubbing a line. It's like I just feel like they just don't work together. And even listening to Corey on SmackDown compared to Raw, it's night and fucking day. Yeah. He's so much better on SmackDown.
Yeah, it's easy. He has a great announcing, a great young people who are just into it. You can tell they're fans of it and everything like that. Coaches trying to incorporate his sports commentary into, and I don't even know if he was good at that. I never really listened to him, but it's just bad overall. I don't like the Raw announce team in this iteration of it.
So let's move on to SmackDown. I thought Raw was.
Wait, hold on. We buried the lead on Raw. We buried the lead.
Wow. Are you talking about Bobby Lashley?
Bobby Lashley.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck was that? What was that? What was that? You had me there. They had the video package playing. It was a cool video package. I was like, okay, we doing this to Bobby Lashley, reminding people exactly who he is. You had Renee Young there. That means that's top quality interviewer in WWE. That's the cream of the crop. It's not Charlie Caruso. No offense to Charlie. That's not Dasha. No offense to Dasha. But you're getting the queen of the crop, Renee Young. And they talk about his family for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And his sisters, and he shouts out his sister, and there's no conversation on wrestling whatsoever, or what he can do in the ring, or what he's after for, or his motivations, why he returned, any of this. What the fuck was that?
They spent so long on everything. Also, shout out to them not mentioning who he faced at WrestleMania, who he was with, who he's representing, what he was doing.
Main evented WrestleMania.
And what he was doing. Like, they don't mention anything about that. I shout out to them for that. I'm not even mad at that. But he starts talking about his sisters, and one thing we're also burying is like they each had like a different thing that they always had with them, like an item or something, and it was like a towel, and one of them had a helmet, and I was like, but like halfway through, I was like, this isn't real, is it? Like, these aren't stories that are actually things that happened to him in his life, are they? Like, there's no way that these things happen. Like, it was.
When are his sisters debuting on Raw? That's what I got from this promo. I'm like, where are those tough ladies debuting on Raw? Because this guy, I don't know. Great hat.
I don't know if rehabbing his character in that way worked. I'm not sure where they go with Bobby Lashley. I'm pretty sure he loved the focus on his sisters. I'm pretty sure he really thought it was dope. But I did not think that it was. I don't think it helped him out a lot. I think you keep him off of TV until you have something for him. Like I just really don't know if these things that like he's doing really helps. Like I don't know about this character any more than I did before. Like we knew he was an Army Ranger or whatever the fuck it was when he first started, but I don't know.
I literally think he has not had one single interesting thing that happened in his life besides being let go or leaving the WWE because of alleged racism. So
but he went back and said, did you hear about the fact that he had like blackouts?
No.
Yeah, there was something that came out a couple of years ago where he doesn't remember 8 years of his life.
Really? And it's at the WWE period?
I'm pretty sure like he doesn't remember that period in his life. He doesn't remember that part of his career.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's a gimmick. That's a gimmick right there.
Dude, I'm trying to find the story.
First dates gimmick.
I'm trying to find the fucking story, dude.
Dude, what was that? Listen, we've seen video package rehab characters. We watched NXT and we saw what happened to Roderick Strong and just the U-turn he made after those 2 weeks of video package. We saw the Hideo Itami video package, which he didn't need, but it helped enhance. We saw what they did with Finn Balor and all these other things, just these video packages and these specials and all these things that sort of helped. There was this meme that said we took 100 takes and that was the best one. And I literally think that's what happened. Like we did 100 takes of this interview and that was the best one. Like, there's pretty much nothing to his story. And I don't know, like somebody was like, how long you got him staying? And they were like, till SummerSlam. And I was like, shit, nigga, earlier. Like I don't know how long he's going to stay here. I mean, he's not like Alberto Del Rio, where Del Rio's just like, all right, I'm over this. I mean, he might be. Who knows? I don't know Bobby Lashley. I really don't know. I really don't know the man. So I think there should be a better opportunity to get to know the man, or at least make him seem a lot more interesting than he is. They had a video package of Stephanie McMahon before WrestleMania, like kickboxing and doing all this other extra strong shit. And we have Bobby Lashley sitting in the chair with a very nice hat and with a very nice lady talking about his family. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? That's all I'm saying. We can move to SmackDown. I just had to get that off my chest.
Very weird angle. I'm going to put audio from that at the top of the show, just so people can hear how weird that was. AJ and Nakamura, they are not finished.
They are not.
Two great promos from them both, I will say.
Look at his cheek. The poor man busted open his cheek.
Oh, man, we did not even talk about that botch where he threw the chair at Nakamura's knee. It would have been a great spot had it not bounced back in his face. I think Nakamura needed to like not. Yeah, I don't think Nakamura needed to. I think maybe the force, he underestimated the force, and AJ threw it harder than Nakamura was actually delivered. Like Nakamura fed the chair to him, basically. He was feeding his knee, but AJ threw that fucking chair too hard.
I think timing also deals with it as well, but it was just a bad spot. Poor AJ, like his cheek is.
Looked like he had like a portal to hell in his cheek.
Oh my god, it was gross.
Terrible. But I love what they're doing with Nakamura. Obviously, like everything that they do outside of the ring with Nakamura, I love. Everything inside the ring, it's perplexing to me. I have no clue what they're doing with him inside the ring. I don't know what he's doing. Like I said on Sunday, this was a make or break, and you know how the match ended in a draw. Like that's how my decision ended. It was like that. I can't really call if this was a make or break thing for him because the match didn't end.
Ugh, I'm just over it. I'm over it. I mean, I'm ready to have a third match, but I just need a finish. Just give me a finish.
This is gonna be the fourth one. This is gonna be the fourth one in 2 months.
No disqualification match. How do you fuck that up?
And then, one thing I did want to note is that Paige did talk about the actual finish of the match and how she did not foresee that it would end that way. And it's really clever because none of us did either. We just didn't like the finish. But they also did not talk. They also did not talk about what it was going to happen. So I think at Money in the Bank you will get a last man standing, or you don't want to do too many gimmick matches like that. So like obviously not a cage or anything like that. But I think either. I think a last man standing match works, and I think that'll be where you do the title change at, because I think AJ has something bigger lined up for SummerSlam. I really do think he'll be going against Joe.
I agree.
Charlotte Flair was a part of the Money in the Bank qualifying matches. She went against Peyton Royce, and they had, to me, a match that you probably could have seen on Backlash as well. I don't think the match was any better than the Carmella match, and it goes to show just exactly what we said earlier in the show. Like Charlotte does not do very well with opponents that are kind of like not on her level, and it proved it. And I think she made Peyton look worse. I think she made Peyton look good in this match.
I don't think Peyton is as good as people think she is, but that's my hot take. But it's. But
if you're the ring general and you're the top of the show, you're at the top of the show, in that John Cena position, in that Roman Reigns position, in the Miz position, then you should be able to elevate yourself and work with Peyton's her obvious deficiencies in the ring. Like Peyton's he's a great talker, but like when you're in the ring, that match was almost like it was in the Matrix. It was like it was super fucking underwater.
I agree, but I mean, look how long it took the Miz to get to that point, or Seth Rollins, or really anybody at that point. All these people that you named have been wrestling for umpteen years. Charlotte's really only been wrestling for like 5, and I'm not cutting her too much slack, but because at the same time you also have to deliver at this, this current WWE product. Like great matches is definitely raises your value, but yeah, it's just She just needs somewhere. There needs to be a switch that's flipped or something along those lines. But also, SmackDown's a 2-hour show, so it's also kind of weird.
But they gave him like 12 minutes. Like they gave them like maybe the second highest time on the show.
Yeah,
it ended up being not a good match, but Charlotte did eventually win, and she has in the last 2 weeks. In fact, Charlotte was the only face on SmackDown to win.
Huh. Interesting. Did you hear the breaking news about Charlotte?
Yes, her she has to undergo surgery for a burst implant, but busted implant.
I don't know how I don't know how you don't get surgery on that sooner. She says she's going to still do the European tour and then get surgery.
Painful.
But if that's kind of painful, and also I don't know if it's like if it popped, like silicone can get in your body.
Yeah.
And
that is scary.
That is kind of scary to continue to be wrestling through this entire show. If I was WWE, I would have took her off tour. So you at least save her for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view that's coming up. I would have took her off the tour.
I think that they might try and have her take it easy. I'm reading into the story right now. They did take her out of a Comic-Con event in Seattle. So she'll probably... They could stick her in tag matches, honestly, and just have her come out and do a kick or something like that, just as long as she shows up.
Yeah, I still don't think it's the best idea. I think you keep her off the tour, and then maybe you highlight other women like Asuka or something. Like SmackDown women's roster is pretty stacked. You guys can do a lot of different things.
Yeah. Moving through SmackDown, Andrade Cien Almas is debuting next week in London.
I love it. I don't know. Is he going to be in Money in the Bank?
That would be fucking incredible. I think that would be awesome.
I think that would be amazing. I think that would be amazing.
That'd be a great way to debut him and to get him into a feud immediately with whoever he decides to face, and he could have Zelina blame whoever knocked him off the ladder last. That would be his feud. I think that's a great idea. I really love debuts and overseas and stuff like that. It gets the guys over. It makes them feel important, and I think they're doing the right thing with Andrade and making him feel like he is a blue chipper and a can't miss talent. And I do have high hopes for him. I just think they need to clear the deck and clear the table and heat him up and get him ready as soon as possible.
To me,
because like I said, go ahead.
Debut him against, if not the Money in the Bank, I would debut him against Jeff Hardy and have him beat him for the U.S. Championship in his first night. I think he's that good.
100%. 100%. I agree.
And it's in the UK, which is like a weird place to debut somebody who's not, from the UK or has any sort of prior WWE tenure.
But they know who he is.
They know who he is, but I don't think you get as, I don't know. I don't know the UK and how things go there. Everything is sort of taped, but it's going to be taped. You think we get SmackDown at 3 p.m. again?
Yeah. Yep.
That would be amazing. I would rather watch that.
Or you can find the stream. You can find the stream where they're literally like air it live, like as it's going on. 100%
good with the stream because that saves me a lot of time from streaming. But yeah, I think the roster. SmackDown is such a small show that is just weird because it's kind of going to be stop and go with him because not everyone can be on this 2-hour show. Like, for instance, we saw the Bludgeon Brothers on this show, but they were in a video package and they went through the sort of tag team division. And that's really the only taste we've got of the tag team division for like the last 2-3 weeks. So yeah, it's kind of like,
but I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with them not being on the show all the time because it helps them feel
fair.
important.
Yeah, it's also fair. But I would just like, I don't know, just a story or something. There's hard to build to anything when these dual branded pay-per-views are going to have a certain amount of matches and a certain amount of superstars are not going to be on them. So there's not really anything to build towards.
But then you look at it like there's 3 months until the next big show, and that everyone's going to be on that show.
That's true.
SummerSlam's in August, and then after that you got another 3.5, 4 months, and then you got Survivor Series, and everyone's going to be on that show too.
Right.
And so, like, I think it works, but they have to be very smart in how they do it. Like, Backlash wasn't smart. You didn't have the tag team champions on that show. That's unacceptable to me. But
I agree.
But SmackDown or not SummerSlam, you'll be able to have all of them on that show because it's going to be a longer show. So it's a battle that they have to fight where it's like you make these regular pay-per-views 4 hours, which Backlash almost was 4 hours, or do you save it for the big show? And I think it's a balancing act. But I do think that Andrade, just off the strength of what he did in NXT and how I know that they probably look at him in the booking office and backstage and shit like that, like they will try and treat him as somebody that is important. And I do hope that they have the right feud for him. And I hope the same for Sanity whenever they show up. I really hope that they get something good going with them. Like just an idea like of having the Bludgeon Brothers say we want to play with somebody else, and then Sanity shows up. You automatically put them as an important group because they're facing a team that hasn't been beaten as to this point.
Yeah, I agree. Listen,
I like that idea. What did you feel about the booking of Rusev and Daniel Bryan? Daniel Bryan was in a qualifying match, and also we should also mention that The Miz was in a qualifying match as well. He had a pretty good match with Jeff Hardy, which he won. But what did you feel about Rusev beating Daniel Bryan clean on SmackDown?
I like Rusev Day.
You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah. I think I think they were using it to sort of elevate. I think you had an opportunity. I don't know if they want Daniel Bryan in these matches, these ladder matches, just yet.
I don't either.
But I think just you give an opportunity. So then it's like, what do you do from there? So you give someone an opportunity for a very big rub. And I think Rusev is somebody who we've talked about over the last few months about why are they not doing more with Rusev? Why are we not seeing more Rusev? He's one of the most over people in the company. Rusev Day is over, and they seem to be cutting it off at the legs and stuff like that. I think I'm okay with it. but it's kind of weird still. It's
Weird
kind
in
of
what
weird.
way?
Just in the way they sort of ended SmackDown on a sort of tone, like, well, what does Daniel Bryan do from here? I'm like, he lost a match to Rusev. And he just won a match like 3 days ago. So it's kind of like, what do you figure from doing from here? I think,
I believe the casting isn't over. I think the casting is going to end at Money in the Bank. This is to keep Miz and Bryan away from each other. The big picture here is that you're keeping these two away from each other. And when you look at it that way, the loss doesn't really hurt. And I love to bring this up to people. Like, Daniel didn't win a lot when he was full time before. Like, he wasn't like this huge world beating guy. Like, he now the story is he's losing, or he's taking losses, or he's being beat down, and it's making him question himself. Like, did he, is he coming back at the wrong time? That, the landscape has changed. Yes. Now he's got a big cast. He's got an AJ Styles. He's got a Nakamura. But he's got to face up to these guys now, and it might be a little bit different. And I like that storyline for him.
I agree. I agree. We've got to build him back up, but at the same time, I also think there's not going to be a lot of opportunities for him, because I don't think they're ready to give him the championship yet, or at least maybe an opportunity, but they're not giving him the belt just yet. I think we maybe even have to wait an entire year.
Oh, for sure. And I'm okay with that. Let him get his legs again. Let him get the Miz grudge match over, which, like, I think if you make that a marquee match at SummerSlam, that could close the show.
Yeah.
If you treat it as important, like, that could close the show. This is a storyline that is fucking 7-8 years maybe in the making.
Yeah. I mean, I think to be honest, you could main event any show. I mean, it's probably not going to main event SummerSlam, but it coin main event literally any other pay-per-view. I think if this happened in NXT, it would be main eventing, it would be main eventing whatever, pay-per-view it is, but it's going to be good.
I don't know. I mean, they're doing the match in the UK, so
it's going to be good.
We'll see. It'll be a good match. But that was smash. And I think all of the doom and gloom about Bryan, chill out. He's fine. He's gonna be okay. Right. Let's guess who's gonna be in this. Let's guess who's gonna be in this match. So right now, on the male side, we have Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, The Miz, and Rusev, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 more spots. So you have 2 matches each. Next week, you have a match between Big E and I believe Sheamus for another spot on SmackDown. They haven't announced the Raw matches. Yeah.
All right. Well, all right now. Okay.
And whoever gets into that, they get to pick a teammate to go into the Money in the Bank. I think it's going to be Big E, obviously, going into this, or Kofi. So I think Big E for sure. He's a shoo-in. They haven't announced anything else. That takes up the next to last SmackDown spot for me, and I think Andrade will be the last spot for SmackDown.
I think on SmackDown, I'm looking at the roster here. I would say.
Well, who do you think for the New Day is going in? Because that's for sure going to happen.
It's Big E.
Yeah,
it's got to be Big E.
So who's the last? Who's the spot?
I'm gonna say for star power, I'm gonna say Samoa Joe.
Ah, okay.
I'm gonna say Samoa Joe.
I like that. I like that idea too. Either Samoa Joe or Andrade are both really excellent choices. I think they'll both pop Chicago, honestly, because just who they are. On the Raw side, I think Jinder will get his match on Monday because he beat Chad Gable, so he will get his qualifying match. I would hate for them to blow Roman and Jinder on Raw, and I think I don't think they'll blow it on Raw, but I do think Jinder is going to be in that match. I really think in my heart of hearts that Roman is going to make it. I think he's going to be in the Raw side, on the Raw match. And
I'm thinking, if I'm thinking on the Raw side, I'm thinking probably, 3 people right now. I'm thinking Bobby Roode. I'm thinking Baron Corbin, and I'm thinking where was it? I just had it. Ooh, actually, there's more than 3 people. Okay.
Really?
I mean, to me, Dolph Ziggler Dolph Ziggler is also a possibility. I also think Bobby Lashley is a possibility.
Yeah, I absolutely think he's a possibility. If not,
Bobby Lashley beats Jinder. That's how I would book it, at least.
So Bobby and Roman?
I don't see Roman. I don't see Roman in this match.
I'm serious, Neil. The way that they don't know how to book this guy, they're going to fucking book him his second chance match. They might even book with the 2 people that didn't get like the two runner-ups. Like they'll have Sammy go against Roman or some shit like that. I really think they will.
That would stink because they're doing all these stupid promos about how everyone wants to be in Money in the Bank. And look, I'll be like, even the Ascension, we'll be in Money in the Bank. I'm like, all right, relax. Okay.
I think Andrade or somebody will face Ty Dillinger who cut a promo, or Shelton Benjamin or somebody like that. There's so many jobbers that they could put in that position. But if Seth isn't going to be in the match and Seth said he's not interested in Money in the Bank, who do you think will be his opponent on Money in the Bank in a couple of weeks? He's got to have a match. So
give that man.
This is really very interesting. I think Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens. I could see Kevin Owens. I could see Dolph Ziggler. I could see.
I think they're sticking him in a tag. I think they're just going to be a straight tag. He hasn't mentioned wanting anything but like tag team shit. I think Owens and Rollins it'll be a great match.
I think so too.
Before the women's side to me is a little more interesting. There's only 2 people confirmed so far. I think the rest you can kind of play by numbers and guess will happen. I would say someone from Absolution will make it. Yeah, I think that
Absolution's dead. Then Absolution's dead.
Or whoever. I think Mandy will be the choice there. I think Asuka's a shoo-in, obviously. I think Becky's a shoo-in.
I think Asuka, Becky. I would go for Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, that could work too. That would work.
Shoulder injury. What the hell is this? I don't.
Yeah, I don't either, because they said that WWE said she had a shoulder injury on Sunday and they haven't brought it up at all. And she showed up on Raw asking for a Money in the Bank slot on Monday. So I'm not sure what was up with that. Like maybe their signals got crossed.
I'm thinking maybe Alexa Bliss. Get some Bliss action in there. And if I had to choose someone from SmackDown, I would probably say at some point I'd probably go with Asuka. I'd probably go with
Asuka's for sure going to be in that match.
Asuka, definitely one of the, Mandy Rose or Sonya Deville. And then I would go with Naomi, likely.
Naomi. I really also think Ruby Riott will end up in that match somehow. And nice. Sasha or Bayley. Or do you do Sasha and Bayley in the match?
At this point, I don't even care. Like, their feud is so like it's secondary now because it just keeps going on and on. But yeah, I mean, I think that would be nice. That would be nice if they were both in the match, but I don't think it's necessary. If you wait, actually, you have all 4 horsewomen in the match. Ooh.
Oh shit! You could. You really could.
You could have all 4 horsewomen in the match.
But then you have NXT women on the other side.
That would be a nice little, you have a nice little stare down in the ring. It's they're all
NXT, but you know what I mean. Like all of the other.
No, I understand. You do the little. They do the 4-person stare down in the ring. They get the nice pop, and then the other 4 girls come in, and they're just like, "Who do you girls think you are?" Like we're also in this match, and it's a nice spot.
I think Asuka wins this match. I think Asuka wins for SmackDown.
Here's the thing. I feel like usually Money in the Bank is the person you least suspect about 90% of the time. But it's someone they want to become champion. You know what? I think it's going to be Asuka too. At this point, it makes sense to me. It should be Asuka because
she should be
fear that raises the profile of Money in the Bank. I mean, she could cash in that night at that point. She could just say, I'm ready to have my match now after that ladder match.
And I think you have her beat. I think you have her cash in at Extreme Rules. Then you have her beat Carmella. Obviously, I never saw Carmella as a long-term thing.
So here's the thing, though. You have one briefcase, and this is a multi-person match. Is there a possibility to use the briefcase on another champion?
No. They said that they made that rule last year, didn't they? Oh, well, no, yeah, they made that rule.
No, it was a SmackDown only match last year, though.
Oh yeah, you're right. Didn't Paige say that it was only for that show, though?
I didn't listen to what Paige said. I tuned in SmackDown like 5 minutes too late.
I think she had a promo at the beginning of the show where she said you can only use the briefcase for if you win on that show, you have to use it on that show.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Shout out to Paige. I didn't pick her to be GM anyway, so.
Oh my God.
So, shout out to her ruining everything.
I think, even if you don't, Ember is a good choice. And I think if you want to heal, I don't think you want to heal to win it again. I think you want to face to win it. I think you want Asuka to get the belt because I think
Miz to win. Give it a Miz. Miz,
no.
Put him back in the championship, realm. Like
to me, on the Raw men's side, it's Finn or it's going to be Roman. It's Finn or Roman. Finn to further that heel turn that I really think is going to happen. But if you want to go with the least possible choice or the person you least expect, then you would probably do Jinder or Rusev.
I'd probably go with Rusev. But I really want to see. It could be Bobby. They could be like, yo, we really want to, this is the time for Bobby.
Oh, shit. You could do Bobby Brock at SummerSlam.
Yeah, you could do Bobby.
Wow,
talk about his hats and his sister and all this other shit. And then Paul Heyman rips him a new one.
Money in the Bank, Brock is currently not scheduled to be on that show, but that will be literally, he will have broken Punk's streak by that time. So, very interesting show. A lot of different interesting things happening on that show. We'll have to see if we are going to be correct in the next couple of weeks, but I'm pretty sure that might be your field of challengers for the Money in the Bank. And I think that is going to be it for the show this week as well. Meelz, anything else you want to talk about?
Two quick things. Mustafa Ali versus Buddy Murphy last night. Really
yes. Good. Yes, I did watch that last night. I'm so sorry. They also announced that 205 Live will be facing WWE UK people next week in London.
That's beautiful. I love it. I love that. I love that energy. And then second thing, the Undisputed Era on NXT is really sexy on the show. And pause, I said that in advance, but it's like a really good look for the show. Like them being the cornerstones of the show is a really, really good look.
I really, really love the Undisputed Era. And I don't think I was ever iffy on them, but I was always unsure of how they were going to present these guys. I think the inclusion of Roderick Strong has been extremely strengthening to their brand. I love the theme. I love the swag. I love everything about Undisputed Era. I think Adam Cole, for someone I was not a huge Adam Cole fan, he has turned it the fuck around, and he is actually legitimately great on that show as well. I think that the sky's the limit for those guys. I absolutely agree with you. I look forward to what the Undisputed Era does with the UK guys in June next in the UK tour for NXT next month, and I look forward to seeing what Adam Cole does with the US Championship coming up. They actually have NXT tapings tonight and tomorrow of this week, so we will have to see what's going to happen at NXT Takeover Chicago, and we'll talk about it next week.
We'll talk about it next week. If you're in the New York area, NXT Takeover Brooklyn tickets go on sale on Friday. And
Are you gonna get a pair of tickets, or you should wait? I'm gonna be there. I think we'll be able to get in.
I'm gonna get them, and then if you come, I'll sell them.
I know it's always iffy because something always pops up for me. So get the tickets, but have your StubHub ready. My friend,
okay.
Because
all right, I did that last year. I sold them. Listen, the resale on tickets was pretty momentous. I'll just tell you that. So,
it's fucking lit. It's fucking lit. So get your tickets for NXT Takeover. We might have some A Show things, or you might be seeing the A Show in person in New York in August. So get ready for that. But for Meelz, this is Justin for the A Show. As always, check us out on.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. You were doing it. I was about to say.
What you about to talk about the playlist?
I was about to talk about the Lookout.
Oh shit! Go ahead. Yeah, I actually if you had anything else to talk about, go ahead.
The Lookout is returning this Saturday, and I know it's a very weird time, but it coincides with what we're talking about this season on The Lookout. And if you don't know The Lookout is a Dragon Ball podcast that I do with Jeff from RSPN, and we do it with a bunch of just nerds talking anime. We're debuting this Saturday just because it's the day that the androids come to Earth in the Dragon Ball anime, and it's the day that's represented. And we were talking about the Android Cell Saga, and we have pretty funny, pretty entertaining conversations. The first episode is a long one. So if you're into that thing, you will definitely love this episode. And we're going to continue to bring it to you pretty much every week. So stay tuned to the Lookout podcast on RNC Radio. You can hashtag Lookout RNC and get in the conversation with a bunch of other nerds.
I am so excited for that. You can check out the Lookout coming this weekend. You can also check out RNC Radio. We had a really good conversation with Anwar Karras that's still up on SoundCloud and iTunes. You can also check out RSPN and the Perfect Play podcast. And we got some pretty cool shit coming up pretty soon. I can't really call it right now, but we got a really big show coming up very, very soon for all of you guys who love movies and cinema. It's going to be huge. Meelz is excited for it.
Stay tuned, my guys. It's going to be big.
I think it's going to be great. And you can also check out all of our playlists on Apple Music and Spotify. We just released the 3-6 Mafia playlist, which I've been listening to all week. It has been a labor of love to just get this out. And I'm very happy with how it turned out. And I'm really happy with the response to it. I've had so many people in the last couple of days asking for a link, and I'm very happy about it. So you can check that out on the RNC Radio Live account on Twitter. Sorry about that. And you can check out the link. You can check out the link there. And this weekend for the mothers, we have a Mother's Day playlist, which is going to be what is basically curated from all of the RNC members and their mothers and their favorite songs. I have to get mine in. I have to get my intros in.
Yeah, get yours in. Get yours in. Listen, it's gonna be an amazing time. Oh wow, there's pre-sale for NXT. Hold up, I'm here right now, man.
Wow.
Right. Wait, no, it's American Express. Fuck American Express.
Where do you want to sit? Where do you like to sit during events? So
I don't like, unless I'm in the first 3 rows on the floor. I do not like sitting on the floor.
Okay.
I had an experience at a house show where I was in floor seats, but I was in row 16. I could see, but then there was a someone who was wheelchair accessible in the seat behind me, and I felt bad standing the entire time. So I don't want to sit there. Was nice. That was really nice of you to do that. Yeah, so I don't like standing crazy. I like the just the section right above floor. That's my favorite section. That's I can do higher. I don't like going the highest. I don't like seeing this from space.
Busby seats. Shout
out to Busby, by the way. Very loyal listener. And yeah, I'm not a fan of those type of seats. So Carlos knows. Carlos knows I'm very picky with where I want to sit. I'll turn down tickets if I think it's a shitty situation.
All right, then. So until next time, guys, just drop all of my keys on the ground. Until next time, guys, subscribe, leave us a comment, leave us a rating on iTunes, leave us some love on SoundCloud, leave us comments, anything. Tell us what we should do, what we should talk about, and how we can improve the show. And we will make sure to listen to you guys if it's within reason, of course. Until next time, follow us on Twitter at OGJohnny5 for me and at Meelz TV. That is MEELZ TV on Twitter. Until next time for the A Show, see you next week.
Peace out. Happy Rusev Day.